Finance Committee. Myself, I'm the chairman, Councilman Johnson. I also have Councilman Jules Green, Councilman Malcolm Labadan. Alexandria City Council meetings and committee meetings are broadcast live and may be viewed on Optima Cable Channel 4. A rebroadcast can be viewed on Optima Cable Channel 4 and the City of Alexandria website, www.cityofalexandria.com. Okay, this is to consider final adoption of ordinance authorizing the 2025-2026 major budget amendment. Item 6. Now open to you, Mayor.
Yes, I'll do an opening and in the summary, and have Paul here to do the detail if there's specific questions that he's needed for. So first, welcome back, everybody, and Happy New Year. And just a general reminder for anyone new, although most of you have served either before and this wouldn't be your first, but for the audience and others, the major budget amendment of this year represents essentially no major set of changes to the budget. So some years it can be a whole lot of reconciliation, other years not. I would never say non-material just because we're dealing with big numbers, and so materiality is not necessarily the word. The statute itself that forces you to reconcile at midpoint already sort of presupposes that it's material for you to have to do it. So the purpose of the presentation is to highlight changes and ensure understanding the budget remains as adopted with the required material adjustments as revenue and expenses are trued up. A fancy way of saying, as the year goes on, you predict what revenue will be, you predict what expenses will be, then you have to true up where they are according to state law. And it is required that we do this by state law. So we'll go through what we would call a summary of this current reconciliation, which we would call a routine version. By routine reconciliation, I mean it's a regular process of reviewing and updating the budget to ensure it accurately reflects changes in the current revenues and expenses as they were predicted to be versus now. You can have real minor ones, as I said, or really deeper ones. The key areas we review for this summary would be operating expenses, revenue projections, capital projects, departmental budgets, reserve funds, et cetera. And so looking at that, I will just tell you that each of you has this set of documents which will show up what has changed, and here's the highlights, and then we can begin answering questions. Revenue, we're increasing sales tax prediction by $5.571 million. So we're predicting that the revenue for sales taxes will be more than originally budgeted by $5.571 million. That's a good sign. But with that is a corresponding use of prior year revenues. So that goes from where it was to 4.828. But that results in a decrease in the transfer from the utility by $3.233 million. So dropping the transfer from utility that used to normally be in that 5%, dropping it recognizing the increase in sales tax and the use of prior funds. Expenses.
All right, so Mr. Mayor, I have a question. So you said we've had $5.571 million more than estimated in sales tax revenue?
We increase that we will be up by 5.571 by year's end.
So we budget conservatively, and then we check at the halfway point of the year. And if it's looking like it's going to be consistent with previous years or higher, we go ahead and up the budget to make it more accurate.
All right, is that, I know that's a good thing, almost $6 more million. And that comes from people purchasing items and paying sales tax for goods in the city of Alexandria.
Yes. We won't know our Christmas numbers till February-ish. It's a 2-month lag, but
Now, do we know why? I mean, is this increase normal?
well, I mean, that's a deeper question. We talk about it every year at budget, but just to get into it a little. Just looking at Alexandria historically, Mr. Johnson, I would say that Alexandria, while it doesn't maybe have these great waxes up, it also never had the wanes. Obviously, COVID and the real economic challenges back in the 2010s posed a little bit different, but Alexandria used to grow between 2 and 4% a year, so that would be a normal growth. So again, while that isn't a big spike like you may see in other cities, our 2 to 4% was 2 to 4, maybe 6 sometimes was a guarantee, which allows you to predict, and is a very good thing if you look at that over time. So if you look at a Lafayette, which can have big waxes, but has also had big wanes, big dips, that's less predictability. We budget more conservatively now, both because of post-COVID and just because of the nature of being a sales tax-based city and just such difference in purchasing, because people, it's just a different time. So we're going to naturally react conservatively. As y'all know, the national economy was a strange mix of
It's a big peculiar.
lack of what people would call affordable purchasing power versus some big spikes in money. So they're, depending on who you are in the economy, you might have looked at it like it's been booming, but not for everybody. So some people would see it differently. So we would naturally budget conservatively, and we list that in our budget message to you every year.
So is this an increase from last year,
This,
the 5.571?
oh yeah, well, you mean over the top of, the budget will have to be bigger than last year's at the end of this.
It's still going to be a slight deep. The budget is still below the actuals for the prior year.
Okay, what does that
Just to
mean?
allow for a backslide.
So we would never budget last year's actual to always give yourself room.
We're always going
come
to
in
stay
over.
conservative to see where we come in.
All right.
So we wouldn't look at this prediction and go, we're adjusting up. Let's adjust so up that we would still stay. Think of it like when you pay your quarterlies, the safe harbor rule. You pay 100 to 110% of the last thing, which can hurt, because you can say, I know I'm not going to do that, or I am, but you're required to be safe. It's the other way. We're required to be conservative, and so we're not going to budget and predict revenue that's way above, even if we think it's coming, because if it doesn't, then that
There's a
knocks you
problem.
out a
There's a
different
problem.
way.
So just some of
And
this,
because it's state law.
so the
571.
5.571, that's still prediction, because you're just basing it off what you got and predicting that at the end, it'll probably be that, it'll probably be lower, it might probably
It
be higher.
might be more. I mean, we have to stay 5% behind,
Yeah, it's 5%.
5% rule.
Now, is that,
General fund.
is that amount consistent with a city of ours growing?
I mean, yes, and we're going to talk a lot about that in, not this next meeting, not the next meeting of the council come, but after that, I have a plan that you've asked for that we're going to be talking about and unpacking for you. And we're going to talk a lot in depth about that. Where there's growth, what growth challenges there are, choices not to maybe add population because the cost of infrastructure to fix those areas to bring them in when they're really already right there in the city. They're just not technically in the city. We have to weigh all of that. And so you will see that there has been movements all around in the region, but if you're only looking at it through a lens of population, that can fool you because population is not exactly
Right.
the purest indicator. You've got to look at sales tax, or one of my big ones is what are car lots doing? Where do you see expansion of that? What businesses are expanding? How many permits are there versus other years? Are people asking for more construction or not? Where are neighborhoods being asked to annex? So for example, if you took in certain neighborhoods that already would love to be in the city, you would jump up your population. But the cost to bring them in and fix the ailing infrastructure exceeds what they would pay to be in-city customers in every way, especially with the low cost of our utilities. It would be a catastrophe. It would be really risky. The other thing is you have neighborhoods that want to come in and be built in the city, but may not be at the standards, or they're asking to build a whole new set of houses in an area where we'd like to see them. So over off of Bayou Rapides would be a place we would call a green area, meaning it meets all our safety, all our infrastructure desires, but the housing that people want to go put in it, adding all those houses next to Bonaire, what's the other neighborhood, the gated one? Left Bank and all that, creates a huge traffic problem on queuing on MacArthur, on getting that traffic. You already know it if you're trying to go to Mandarin or whatever. So those are all indicators of the desire to do things, but we have to think through them as we do them. So there'll be 5 or 6 different indicators of growth that we'll be happy to show you. We'll also tell you some things that we know are on the horizon or coming, and some potential projects that are on the horizon that are really good for the community.
Okay,
Having said all that, this prediction is just a pure sales tax prediction. So this is, we see that it's going up, we're still going to be conservative, but we're adjusting by 5.5.
Now, I have a question. Where are the areas where this sales tax is being generated?
Well, all over the city.
I mean, I understand that, but are we able to track to see what areas are producing more than others? Or,
Yeah.
or am I just asking? like,
No,
is it- is it-
that level of granularity could be done, sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we don't track, so the parish where we get it will not track it that way. I'm suggesting that we have the ability to either use current tech or acquire the tech to do that.
Yeah, so we can
And-
see
and we
where
would-
the sales
we would
tax
do
revenue,
that.
where it's coming
You're
from.
going to have a lot in the Versailles corridor where there's a lot of retail growth that produces at a higher end, but it'd be a misconception to assume only there. It's everywhere. It's everywhere restaurants are, all over the city. Anywhere sales are occurring on any level, they're going to be producing sales tax.
Mayor, in addition to the higher sales tax projections, the city also has added 2.5 million in additional intergovernment revenue. We're using 4.8 million in prior year two funds to balance the budget. And also you're transferring 3.23 million out of the utility fund into the general fund. So, as Mr. Larvin was saying, trying to track where it's at, because I was reading the LSU Alexandria Central Louisiana Economic Dashboard, which says our collections are down compared to last year. That raises the budget amendments really where they're being measured. Am I reading that wrong?
Yeah, so it's negligible, it's almost flat, like, I think it was minus
Less than
0 point something, so I would not, so we don't even have our Christmas quarter in, which is the one Alexandria kind of states last, because we're the biggest retail center. So I know what the dashboard said, and I understand there's some media, you got to read it a little more careful. I don't know that it's going to be down by February. I think we're going to see. Look like a pretty big Christmas out there, but we'll see. So it was, it's hard for me to give you a calculation on 0.38, I think it was, or some, you talk about a 1%, that's not a lot. And we don't have our final quarter in, so.
So you're saying, according to the dashboard, it was less than 1% down from last year at this time?
Compared to the same
Compared to-
period.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's without December.
Yeah.
And so even though you're comparing it to the same period, you can do that. You can say in August for August, but there can be other factors that go into that. Remember, we're, as the bigger retail center for this whole region, we're gonna always be competing with the smaller area cities that over time have redirected and have some of those resources. So if you think about when we were growing up, Mr. Larverdane, kind of had to come to Alexandria for lots of stuff. Well,
Not anymore.
that's all redirected, and this redirects more of it than anything. And so to be holding where we are is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. You just have to, the dashboard is a snapshot of a compare year over year. We're going to see what happens in the last quarter, but it'll be telling for us. So your other question was about yes, increasing the prior year revenues as a prediction and dropping down the transfer from utility is a good thing, because since the first time I was mayor there, all I want to do is see us rely less on the utility. We also will be reporting that the pass-through is going to be how much less? 7 million less. So that's 7 million that's just passed on to our customers to the benefit.
So what does that mean to the, so put that in layman's terms for people watching this watching this meeting. What does that mean?
So the utility bill has two main parts. We're not a fee-driven part like others, where we just can add a fee here and there. We're a rate, and our rate in electric utilities has not been raised since 1986. So think about that versus bread or commodities or other things. It's been lowered once by me in 13 or somewhere around, can't remember the year. Anyway, the other ones are very low on a comparative basis. So removing rate, which is what people are charged, we pass through the fuel cost. So what we pay to buy the fuel and create is passed on. There's a tiny percent that it's not a pure dollar for dollar, but it's, for practical purposes, a dollar for dollar. We don't make anything, we don't do anything.
So the
We
city
get what's
makes,
called line loss
You
benefits.
have to adhere to state law, too.
Yeah, so what we're saying is there's going to be 7 million, he's going to be sending, it'll be 7 million less than budgeted. And so that's going to be,
So the ratepayers will be paying less, because the pass-through will be less.
In fuel.
their
Fuel
pass-through
char-
will be less.
The fuel
charge
cost will be less. That's what that means.
Look, it's not trickery, it's easy, we just are careful how we say it, because someone will try to twist the words y'all are saying. It's less for them because the pass-through they will not have passed on to them 7 million in difference. That's a good thing for them.
that is, okay.
Anyway, so removing the transfer from the utility is both a good practice to keep lessening it, but it's also becoming a necessity because the utility is so cheap. So regardless of all of the constant drumbeat of high utilities, which is just absolutely false, 100%, the drumbeat also hurts because the utility can't keep passing on what anybody else would pay in a franchise fee. So if you're with CLECO or someone else, that 5% is a norm. We do that for ourselves because our utility is like a private business utility, at least as to the city. We're not going to be able to do that any longer. So that's a choice, and that's fine if the rate maker makes a choice. But what you don't want to do is keep taking from the utility because it needs its money for its future infrastructure. So you can't have the utility paying the general fund money if it's not by rate and pass through in a position to do so.
So it sounds like we need to work on increasing our sales tax revenue.
Well, that's not driven by us. I mean, that's driven by the people who want to come here and spend their money.
Yeah, it's nice to say that, but brings up a good point because we hear it a lot. City government doesn't create
Right.
sales tax
I
revenue.
know, I'm just saying.
Government doesn't sell a hamburger, it doesn't sell clothes, it doesn't do any of that.
But it would be helpful if more
Oh, yeah.
sales tax, more conveyances and transactions were occurring, which in turn would.
But yeah, for everybody in the country. So anyway, the zoo fund, so that was the revenue side. Those are revenue adjustments. The zoo side and sanitation is, again, sanitation like a utility.
That doesn't make money.
Yeah, don't make no money.
Well, when I was mayor before, it was always zero. I mean, I'll show you all the years. I'm going to give you all a report on how it can be run to do things right, but it's so it's going to be $3 million that we're adding back. That's nowhere to be.
So in essence,
Right now, you get 2-day-a-week pickup, which will never change because our community loves that. And I think, what's the all-in rate? Do you know it offhand?
It's fuel cost also plus a rate average, and it'll be right below $40 a month.
Yeah, I think it's less than that.
And it's a flat rate based on, for residential.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much you throw away.
Yeah, and then fuel cost is determined by how much we pay at the transfer station.
We do things very cheap. We have very low every kind of rate there is to help our public. That's the bottom line. But when you have 80s type stuff and we're in 2026 now, those are choices, and they're choices you can make. No one's telling you to make a different choice. Just saying that has to be made up somewhere to provide that service. Because you don't want to pay $3 million to stand up sanitation. We never had to do that before.
so what you're saying is our sanitation department costs $3 million more than what we're collecting.
I mean, I wouldn't say it that way. I'd say for the employees and everything in it, we're adding another $700,000 to true it up for the year. So, there are things you can look at. You can look at overtime and all those kind of things, but in while there are some overtime issues, I will point out when we get to big budget, or we'll be doing during big budget, I would say that sanitation is not, those guys are working hard, they're doing everything they can do. It's just, that's the cost of where that is today. That's what it's costs. That's what it costs to pick that up, get it, pay the fees to
Well,
transport
was
it out and do it.
Budget that we bought some new trucks and grabber, does that come from that, does that factor into that 3 million?
Yeah, that's all
Okay.
rolling stock and
Yeah, so we
operating
had to
capital.
do some big ticket things.
When things are run right, a rate and your cost should
Should.
cover your future infrastructure. So that's what it is. There's the operating budget, and then there's what we call our enterprise funds. Those are things we're choosing to do, like a private company would do, a waste management would do if they had your sanitation. CLECO would do if they had your utilities. And where we do those enterprise funds, rate, the fuel cost is really a pass-through for us, so I won't counter this, but your rate should cover the three things we always talk about. They should cover the cost of the employees. They should cover the operating stock, if you will, rolling stock, anything with wheels, et cetera. And thirdly, and very importantly, really four things. Thirdly, they have to cover future infrastructure, big capital needs. The fourth one I would loosely call, you got to have something there for a rainy day too. You don't have to make a profit in the traditional sense that a private company does, but you have to be adding to a retained earning some percent so that if there is a catastrophic event, not covered by FEMA, not covered by something, and you have an enterprise fund, it can stand itself back up. Some people say that's 10%, some people say it's 15% of an operating year. It just depends. There's a best practice for different types of things, but certainly, people would say half an operating year is a good thing to have in most public organizations. I'm not saying it has to be in everyone. I'm saying that's a generally good indicator.
Tell me something, if there were to be a rate increase for sanitation, I'm not saying I'm for that one way or the other, would that result in a net increase for wages for the workers?
Well, I think you'd look at what people are, we need to pay sanitation workers more. That's an easy one.
Need to pay electric for them.
We need to pay linemen and people in electric more. I mean, we're not at market in these. So again, sanitation and all those things are enterprisey. They're things you're doing in enterprise. Not every city does those things. If you are doing those things, you ought to be competitive with the private sector. When all of you were growing up, Madam President, Gary, everybody up there, there was when Jules was at the city, there was a different bet. The bet was you might not make quite what you'd make at the city in the same job in the private sector. But because of defined benefits and all of the other things, retirement and other things the city paid in the long haul, it was better. So comparable wages, way better retirement. It's a different day and age. We're so far out on some wages in some areas that you can't attract. And I'll just take one more step. This can be in a deeper meeting we all discuss, but I want y'all to also remember employees are different. Y'all could tell a family member, like, go get this job at the city. Make this bet on yourself. It's going to pay off in the future. When you tell the young folks of today, the folks we all know, that you need to have insurance coverage and a health contribution, all that, we don't, that translation is different now. Some really get it. Some are like, no, I just want to make more money now. I'm not worried about those things. And it used to be that families sort of pushed each other and, their descendants into that. And we don't see that same draw in municipal or even public life. I read a lot of magazines on this. Is happening everywhere. It's harder to get people into public life.
So, I'm sorry.
I just want to bring this back to this meeting. So all
Yes,
we're
sir.
doing on this meeting right here is looking at
Truing it up.
adjustments. We're going by what the adjustment is, probably mid-year, right? And question on that, because this is a good conversation, but we'll be here for 3 or 4 days asking a lot of these questions. So let's get to the.
I'm answering the best I can.
Yes, we understand that. Madam.
I always hear that we're so far behind, and what does the city has to do to actually catch up to be where we need to be?
When you say far behind, in what way?
Like with the sanitation, the sanitation always a standstill. So what are some of the things?
You mean not providing the service to the customer?
No, no, they're definitely providing the service.
Talking about salaries?
Probably
Well, I mean, we're going
Double-edged sword.
no, I mean, that's what I was just answering. I mean, what we have to do is,
What is waste management?
you just have to make the choice of, I have an obligation to treat the different classes of employees as equally and protected as equally as possible. It doesn't mean everyone is paid the same, obviously. Different jobs and different skill sets require different pay. But it's right now, what we go through, Lisa and I, is where are we losing people, or we are so low and out of the market, we've got to make the triage decision. One of them is sanitation, to keep people in it. It's already a tough job. It's not the most attractive job in the world to a lot of people. There are parts of it that can be. It's very hard work. The other one is in the electric utility, linemen and all those kind of things. They can make, I don't know if Marcus is in here,
Twice as much.
twice as much starting somewhere else in a comparable job. So,
We're the training ground for a lot of folks.
yeah, we do that. We will have people come in for a year or so, and then they get picked up with a lot better gig somewhere else. There are ways to fix this stuff without the scary, all you guys are ever going to hear is the negative. If you talk about rates, all you're going to be is attacked. But people want the same level of service, too. So they want 2-day-a-week pickup, I can promise you that. And remember, we go out and pick up green waste, white good, refrigerators, all that. If you're not commercial, in other words, unloading your rent house on the street, which people do, we end up having to pick it up and deal with it. But if you're unloading your own home or whatever, we pick all that up. Other people charge by the loads in a very different way than we do.
Yeah.
So all of that affects all of the reasoning that you have to add money back. So we're talking about losing money, and you're asking how are we going to do, like, you guys got to, we have a lot to talk about to figure out what to do, but we're talking about losing money we shouldn't be losing because we're so far out of the market. We're also out of the market on paying people because we're so far out of the market. It's a vicious circle. And we've got to reinvest in some of these things. When it gets to the point where you're not getting the new infrastructure you need, then you're going to really have a problem. And I think that day is here. I think that y'all have a renewal coming up on a capital tax. I don't think it's going to be up. I don't think it'll pass. I don't think there's any momentum behind it, and I think it's going to shock people when half your capital dollars, your general capital dollars, are gone. And I suspect that's what's going to happen.
Well, let's talk about the ways we get money.
Well,
We get it from federal government, we get it from the state, and we get it from.
capital
grants.
money?
I mean, the budget period.
Again, the budget is driven by essentially two things, not only, but mainly sales tax, then property tax. Fees and all the other things are very, very low part here. We're not driven that way. If you're in a small town of Woodworth, then you're more fee-driven. You don't have any sales tax base, so you have to, maybe it's tickets, maybe it's whatever. It's a fee-driven deal. Here, it's sales tax. So sales tax is going to be, as you pointed out, Mr. Johnson, that's not government proper. That's making an environment that people want to have businesses. We're not regulating them. We're not hurting or stopping that. Property tax is what that capital millage is. It's not a sales tax. It's a property tax, an ad valorem. And so that's paid by people who are the property owners. And, when I go out and talk to those persons who are large, we'll call them large property taxpayers, they don't mind paying the property tax. They're for it. We're ironically having the property tax ad valorem fought by people who benefit from it. And it's just misinformation. It's just that simple. It's not complicated. We talk about it every week at staff.
Mayor, as you said, speaking with the residents, I took some notes myself over the weekend, just saying if sales tax revenues are truly growing over the year, the city would be less dependent on spending leftover money from prior years, moving millions of dollars out of utility funds, and are cutting or reducing staff in several departments. So with the one-time money, you're saying that
What you stated is not what's happening.
I'm
We're
asking the question.
decreasing the utility, not adding from
But
the
I'm
utility.
saying the sales tax are growing year to year, so I'm having people, prior to even getting to a budget, utility increase, aren't happy, they see what's going on. This book is online, people do read it. I wasn't here when I voted to put it on the line, so you need to explain it. It has to be explained to the citizens what they're doing. A lot of people read and understand what's going on. I get a lot of calls, and I did a lot of research across the state this weekend on what we're talking about right now. And I was just asking, with the sales taxes increasing, why would we need to?
We're not increasing sales tax. We're projecting that people
That you're-
who pay sales
They're-
tax,
They're growing.
that what we projected it to be, it will actually come in more, which we're required to do by what's called conservative budget predictions. Conservative budget predictions mean you always under-predict revenue and assume expenses are either static or grow, because they do. Expenses don't go back. The cost of goods and things doesn't go back to 1980s. It goes forward. So expenses have to be budgeted in the conservative way that they're going to be more or static. Your solution, if you think that you can't deal with expenses, is what? There's one thing you can do. Cut them. We haven't been cutting them except cutting where there's fat. You can do that. So what Mr. Green mentioned is all of those in one thing, as if there's no relation. So yes, you can have to cut jobs if you don't have it, but we're not trying to cut jobs. We have tons of jobs that aren't filled. From what I said earlier, people are not entering the public service. We have to keep having more fairs and do things. We have available jobs all over the city. So it's not that, I'm not sure what that was, but again, revenue is being decreased in its transfer from utility to the general fund, leaving the utility revenue where it belongs in its utility. Normally, the city takes from the utility. We're saying leave it. Mr. Green, you just have to be more specific. I don't know who you're talking to. I talk to the professionals who do the budget, and we talk to our auditors. They're your auditor. They're independent, and
Well, you were speaking of reducing, saving. Now, I went to call Shreveport, and they were glad to send me this information. And just saying, you're saying cutting. Let me just go to the legal.
I didn't say cutting. You did, sir.
I did, okay. Reducing,
I rejected the term cut.
recutting. One thing that really caught my eye going through this weekend, the legal department. Let me just say this, and y'all could take it any way you want to. Shreveport has 175 to 180,000 people. Their legal fee budget is $1.39 million. We have 43 to 45,000 people in Alexandria. Our budget for legal is $3,015,000. That's $1,624,000 more than Shreveport. A lot of people, they've read this, they've looked, and we're talking about saving money. They have 15 people in their department, one full-time city attorney. They have 9 assistants, 1 manager, 1 reception, 1 legal. We have 8, and we still have a higher utility fund than theirs. Legal funds there. So when you want to look at saving, we might need to start bringing some of this stuff in-house. I'm just saying, from reading and reaching out to other entities, what we got going on, sir. That's just that department, legal. There are other ones that we can look at, we can do things better about.
So I don't know
Excuse me?
why that's up right now, but let me just say this. I will get the comps, and they will not be what was just stated. Shreveport is a much bigger city,
But the less,
but it's shrinking. I mean, it's lost by, its budget will probably be reflecting its in-house budget, not its outside budget for contract lawyers and all that it has to pay. So that's going to be very different, and you're comparing apples and oranges, and I'll be glad to make that comparison. But I'm just going to go out on a limb and guess that if you think that Shreveport pays less claims or has less legal bills than the city of Alexandria, that, no, not going to be the case. Mr. Gissman, the city attorney, do you think that Shreveport's going to have less legal bills than we do?
When they-
So-
he said Mr. Gibbs, but that's Mr. Goins, that's Mr. Gibbs.
No, I asked Mr. Gisson and I asked Mr. Goins.
Okay.
This is going to be easy to do. It's going to just be looking at what that budget of the 1 point whatever is for. So our in-house budget is much smaller than that number. But we have contract lawyers who perform a lot of services. Shreveport being a bigger city, New Orleans, bigger cities, they tend to have their city attorney's office have more in-house. Daniel worked there. He knows that. Way different model. Different draw, different ability to have attorneys come in, pay them a different salary and make a career of it. You don't have that here. So we tend to contract out our work. Can that inflate it somewhat? Can law firm rates be less of a good deal than if you could have a full in-house staff? Sure, but that's where we are.
So
You need
let's get
That's a
back.
market problem,
Okay,
not a...
so-
But you need expertise.
Right,
You can't have-
and New Orleans can hire an expert in each area and put them in those offices. We just don't have the same pool to play with.
And they're much more expensive,
Okay.
too.
So let's bring it back to where we're here for. So we got, this is for 25, 26 adjustments. Let's go through the numbers and see what the big adjustments are and why the adjustments are there.
Okay.
That's what this meeting's for. We had 30 minutes, of course, it's gonna take more than 30 minutes. So,
So can we give you some good news, too?
good news is.
I thought this was all good. We're decreasing the dependence on utility. We're doing those things. The zoo also increased by $500,000. It's going to go to $2 million. That was at 1.5, and they get half the millage. And look at that growth. But we don't want to do anything to the zoo. We want to keep seeing things happen there, but look at the growth of costs to do that. And it isn't like they're running inexpensive, guys. I mean, y'all know that they know how to make a dollar stretch over there, but you know the events like we held the other day that are so nice. Increase in machinery and equipment in streets, 659 to alleviate the 625 increases in repairs and maintenance. Increase in demolition, Mr. Larverdane, by
Yep.
$390,000
I saw
to a
that.
total $740. That's for you.
I saw that.
General capital projects increase, that increase in sales tax, we're going to predict another .6 million. Increasing the Brownsfield to 1.2. The expense, because that's a grant, is shown underneath it, the same 1.2 as a grant. Property tax fund,
Question. on the-
yes.
So how do grants, okay, we got sales tax, we got property tax, and so grants also is a part of our budget.
Yes.
So how do we do grants if we don't know grants from, okay, when the budget first, when we first start the budget, we have no idea what kind of grants we get.
Right.
So we just make a,
So they get trued up, that's exactly what's happening. So they get trued up when it happens, that's why it's making MBA.
Because usually the grants come in, the federal grants, we learn about them in October, and that, there's some of that reflected in your major budget amendment.
So you see it on both sides of the ledger to
Okay.
reflect that it's a grant.
okay.
That's why you see it as a plus and then the minus, right? All right, property tax, the Handiworks building is a reignite project. That's the building at the top of the key on Masonic, right across from the fire station. That's $500,000. We'll talk about some other bids tonight, and then also we are starting on our sport courts right there on the other side. The next page is the utility fund. You'll see what Paul talked about earlier, the decrease in fuel costs by $7 million, which is ultimately a reduction to the cost for customers. Increase of prior fund balance from utilities by 1.8, again reflecting that additional cost, but also not giving it that high amount to the operating side. Again, reflecting growth in costs in the utility without matching revenue. Growth in expenses, non-matching revenue. And then underneath of that, you can keep looking and you'll see the expense, the decrease in transfer to general fund, again, is stated on the utility side at 3.233. That matches the general fund decrease in the transfer. Rates are not part of that. That's why we're having to do that. It's the rates don't support continuing that transfer at that level. The increase in tree trimming is by 500,000, Malcolm, so that goes to 900. Increasing maintenance in lines and poles, another $500,000 to 1.4 in electric distribution. Increasing maintenance substations, 300,000. That takes that to 410 in electric distribution. Increasing maintenance in mains for about 750, that's in water distribution. These are all absolutely necessary things in your different utilities. Increasing maintenance of lift stations by 320,000, that's wastewater collection. So you saw several electric, one water, and one wastewater. The sanitation fund on its side, so we talked about it on the operating side, now go into the fund and you'll see its side. Increasing transfer from the general fund, so you're showing it as revenue. It's coming out of our general fund, the 704 we talked about at the top of this, and going into theirs as revenue. But it's not, it's being supported by the operating fund. So that will bring them up to that 2.918 million. Increasing vehicles, 76,000, so that brings vehicles to 1,377 to alleviate the $500,000 increases in repairs and expenses. So when we see repairs and maintenance have a problem, that can indicate fleet, life, all those kind of things. You want to make sure.
Mayor.
Yeah.
Okay, could we add more automation to our sanitation department?
I'm not gonna say no. Can you be a little more
I
specific?
guess.
You mean where it picks them up and all?
Yeah. With that,
So I think the city looked at it a long time ago. You have to have, so everybody's got to have the uniform trash can, which some cities adopt, and people comply and play right along.
I'm just wondering, could that save us some money, some manpower, if we introduce some automation to our sanitation department?
I mean, you would have to get all the vehicles new, and then massive campaign to get the citizens to comply with the cans, that you have to have a special one.
Yeah.
Only one, can't be overfilled, it can only be one. And we got 2-day pickup. Those are not no's, they're just things that Alexandria has not been as quick to adopt as some other places. People,
Could we just look into that to see
sure,
if that could help?
I just hate those jobs are meaningful,
Well,
But Mr. Lawrence, Lafayette has that, they're not satisfied with it, but we can look into it.
I didn't realize that.
And
I don't know.
as
I'm
the
just-
mayor
I'm
alluded,
just thinking.
your citizens would have to go to one can, couldn't be overloaded, and there have been some things I have seen that turned out crazy behind that one can. So it takes more than just saying, going to automation. The citizens have to truly come on board. And then you have to have, at the day of your pickup, you can't have a car parked on the street
Right.
close to that area. And if your car is parked on that street, your can is not picked up. So they're calling the mayor, they're calling the council.
I'm just
My
asking.
trash
I'm
wasn't
just
picked up.
I
So
mean, good question.
I'm just thinking, I'm just thinking.
I've adopted Mr. Green's answer over mine. That was a good, those are all,
I'm
it takes
just thinking of
community
ways.
support.
Take a lot.
It doesn't mean our community won't do it,
Right.
but history shows the community's been challenged with that kind of change, wanting to do it everywhere, not one area, the whole city, from recycling to, just challenged about, this is the day you have to do this and you can't do it another day. Tell people they can only cut grass and cut big branches and put them out on one day, or they miss the 3-week cycle. It's tough. It doesn't mean you can't, but Mr. Green is outlining real concerns. Lafayette did it, and the Cajuns weren't so happy.
And most of them are done by private companies that did that
Yeah.
stuff up. And they charge $60, $70 a month pickup.
They do, and so Jules had that underpacked in his answer, but y'all need to hear what he was saying. When it's the when it's you who are elected officials. A private company can say, I'm only coming this day and I'm charging you X, you better do it, and your compliance is gonna be way up because you pay your money and you're not gonna want your trash not picked up. When the city is the compliance generator, and they can call one of you and go, they didn't come today. Well, I looked it up, they did come. You didn't have it out in time, and your neighbor has it on camera, they can prove it. That doesn't matter, they're gonna call you 100 times. And so, when the city runs the enterprise, it's a little bit different for you guys and for the other elected.
It was just a suggestion.
There's nothing wrong with
of
it.
ways to-
It's good to compare them every so often and just see. Maybe Lafayette had a reason it didn't work, and it won't be the same for us. We'll be glad to look.
Okay.
The last item was just from my list was utility capital projects. Increase the DG Hunter major maintenance by just $350,000, which is small in that world. And that's my rendition of all the major items that are in these sheets. If y'all have individual ones, Paul or I will be glad to answer.
Got a question. So how long did it take you to compile this? I mean, so we just got it.
Like to build this,
Yes.
2 months. So I mean, we go through each line item, we look at big accounts, look at where we were at each month versus the past 3 years.
So it's from May to November, like halfway point?
So
What
we-
you said?
Yeah, so we wait until around October 31st is the halfway point. And then once all of that data is in, we'll start comparing that data versus the previous 3 years' data and get a percentage and see where we're at to see how we would like to.
If you
adjust
start
it.
too early, you don't have data to make it meaningful. You might not be materially doing the right thing if you start too early.
And we compare it versus previous years, where you're at the halfway point. Is it typically this high? Some things you spend much more money in the end of the year versus the beginning of the year. Like
So-
grass mowing, for instance.
So May start the fiscal year for
Yes, May 1.
June, July, August. So November would be midpoint.
Right, so we said.
So it take,
Yeah,
right,
so
it's-
starting
Yeah, October 31st
But we don't
is the
get
end of the 6 months.
reports from the parish and the sales tax. There's a delay between when the retail merchants,
2 months.
they have to
Okay.
send them in. So December might, we don't know that until the first of February.
Okay.
Is
The
that
revenues.
And Gary, just remember, this is not us making a bunch of policy decisions. This is a true-up at major budget amendment. I highlighted what I would consider on the borderline of policy versus just truing up. Like, we made the decision to pull, not having utilities make a transfer. That's a policy decision. And just a true-up decision. But generally speaking, this is about truing up, not about altering anything. It's about keeping it as it was based on the new data.
So this question,
Is the best guess.
Yeah, we don't send any requests to departments of what do you, like we do at big budget, what do you need? What do you want this year? We don't do that at this point. It's a true-up time.
so would this not be the time to ask for some money? No?
At major budget amendment?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Oh. That's right.
Oh, from you, baby. Did you say, well, it's from a councilman, it could be yes. What do you want funded?
Not yet? Okay. Anybody have questions? Well, I need a motion and a second to take this to council. I need a motion and a second to take this before council.
Move.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second to take this to full council. At this time, this committee is closed.
Sorry about that, Mr. Johnson.
But yeah, I think y'all kind of
You're good, sit right here.
So we got another,
Okay, good afternoon. Economic Workforce and Planning Development Agenda, January 17. I'm the chairperson, along with Malcolm Larvin and Mr. Chuck Fowler. 4:30 PM to hear an update from the administration on the status of Blight Court.
Okay. We have hearing officers were the first thing that we put in place. Dan, you can come up in case you might want to have to answer something. So here's where we are, what we're working through right now on the proper strategies moving forward. We're making some comparisons, Mr. Larverdane, on whether to target for this clusters, target gateways, look at age-related targets, look at size-related targets, or look at safety-related targets.
What
So,
does that mean?
real simple. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'll usually tell you guys about any needs-based assessment is two things would happen. If someone said, I need this on my street, you would look at two things. How long have they been in the queue versus other people waiting on a project, and need-based, or both. So you could have a need-based thing, a line blows out. It could jump ahead of everything else in the queue because it's now needs-based, right? When you look at where we should go focus, and this is commercial focus for these courts, we have talked a lot, and I think the council has been very wise in this, and I think it's been led a lot by Mr. Johnson, and I think by the president of the council as well, and all of you have weighed in, that we should be looking at more clustering. Instead of always trying to spread everything, like put one here and here, it may politically make some of your constituents happy because you're doing everything, but then you're not making a big change in an area that can trickle out and do more. So that would be a cluster versus just open. Doesn't mean you only do cluster, it just means that's one of the focuses. The other would be gateways. Should we be looking at targets on the gateways as you come in the city? Because it's the first impression that outside people see of the city. So shouldn't we be focused on gateways? That would be another focus. Age-related targets is, again, looking at sort of the queue, but just how old is it? The more something degrades, breaks down over time, and you don't take care of it, the worse their problems are. So you have a commercial structure, it's been there longer, it's got more and more loss of tensile strength, it's going to be more and more of a danger, it's more and more of a fire hazard, it's more and more negative everything, the longer it sits there with an unabated problem. Size-related is just what it sounds like. Some things are so big, their ability for them to cause some kind of catastrophic or injury to other property around it is greater. And then finally, safety-related, which corresponds to at least the last two, age and size. Safety-related would be the guest house.
So you said.
It's all three.
On the guest house. So you're telling me this blight court is initially going to be focusing on commercial properties?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, can you tell me how many commercial properties fit this?
Well, we're looking at a batch of about 10 to 12 to get started with.
Okay.
The ownership research and mortgagee research, all the interested parties right now. Hopefully, we're looking at a matter of weeks and not months to get it started.
Okay.
In Alexandria, there are more, say, blighted residential properties than commercial. However, this council's typically attacked those blighted residential properties through the condemnation process.
Mhm.
Commercials have largely, for multiple reasons, been difficult, not impossible, but difficult to address through condemnation, demolition. Often you have asbestos and other environmental issues. It's more expensive, frankly. So typically, the council shied away from that, which has left this gap. So we think that starting with commercials is the right way to go.
But ultimately, the blight court can do commercial and residential.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. All right, now, when are we going to get started?
So, Mr. Laverdane, your brother will be part of it. We have gotten the green light from at least one House rep member. We're going to be talking to, I'm not putting you on the spot, but he's the rep. We're going to be talking to Ed, too.
That's no problem.
We're going to copy this Monroe bill, pass that to you. And rather than me read it, I'm going to give it to you to read, but we've got a little summary here for you of the bill that we're going to introduce this session. And I haven't read the title yet. I generally know what it is. Daniel would be able to recite it, but you're capable and can look and make some determinations. You may want to discuss some of those items. But we want to get a bill now that will give us some of the increases in jurisdiction and also ultimately some of those administrative, some of the authorities to change what we're locked into. But it'll be some steps.
So what's the purpose of this bill?
So currently under state law, a municipality the size of Alexandria is limited in what its administrative bureau would be able to handle. So your property maintenance issues are limited to really blighted properties and nuisance. Fire code is okay, environmental is okay, but we're not allowed to do zoning currently. So
So what does that mean, zoning?
So if you have, if you're using the wrong use in your property, it's land use zoning, so everything.
So in essence, if a person wants to use their house for a business and.
That would be an example, of course, yeah, very
Okay.
easy example, right? So currently, we have to send them these letters, bring them to city court. A lot of places, Monroe included, based on the size, they have asked the legislature to be allowed to address things such as zoning, and expand what the hearing bureau is allowed to hear.
Now, has this bill been pre-filed?
I don't think so, no.
Because the deadline is, I think, tomorrow, I believe.
It's going to make the deadline.
It's going to make the deadline.
We're working on it.
Okay.
I am told by Ms. McGills and Mr. Gist that it's gonna, but he doesn't look confident, at least from the side.
And who was the rep sponsoring it?
At this point in time, we've spoken to Mr. DeWitt.
Okay.
We're going to speak to your brother. You know how it kind of works. They each have so many.
That they can introduce.
And this is one of the things y'all talked about for the last few months, so we feel it's important.
Okay.
And we need to get something started by tomorrow.
We brought it up to you tonight because we were hoping you would ask.
I can ask him, I can ask him, yeah. I can ask him.
That's perfectly how it should work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing wrong with that at all.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on
And
that.
to be a policy of the city, y'all have to know about it, so
Yeah.
we're trying to move in that direction.
Okay,
I
all
have
right.
a question. It's modeled after Monroe's bill?
Well,
And is-
Monroe,
More than,
Slidell, there's a number of cities of a certain population that have asked to have the same powers that Baton Rouge has. And you're gonna hear about Baton Rouge does this, or Shreveport does this. They
we
have-
can't do what they do.
that we can't
To make it
do
for us.
because of the legislature, some of those things. And we want to be on the same footing as some of our, like Monroe. Monroe went a couple of years ago, so did Slidell. It's the same language that we're asking, that the city be given those same powers.
So, all right, I'll make sure the rep gets this. Now, when is the blight court going to go online?
We're hoping in weeks, maybe a couple months. I mean, we're working through the ownership issues. As you know, to meet due process concerns, we have to be sure to notify all the interested parties.
Okay, all right.
And we didn't want to sort of trickle it out. We kind of want to have a nice batch to get started with.
Mayor, you said the pre-filing date is tomorrow, by the 14th?
I think it is. I
Well,
think it
what I
is.
have is the pre-filing date is
Okay.
It's a
Friday.
legislative deal.
Legislative, because they go into session on March the 9th, and
I
they
thought it
have,
was Friday too, Mr. Green. I think we were probably given an artificial, like, if you don't get it to me by tomorrow, I might have trouble by Friday. We've got some advertising requirements. I wish Kay were down here, she would know all this by heart. You may know.
well, I
Okay.
was saying, what I was saying was, what I have received, that the legislature goes into effect March the 9th. Pre-filing bill dates is deadline February 27th. That may be incorrect, but I got this from the state. So that's why I was saying, when you guys said tomorrow, that's cutting it close, but I think Mr. Representative Larvin has pre-filed some bills. I'm not sure if this was inclusive of that, but in keeping up with the legislatures and the other entities across the state, I just wanted to make sure we were all on one accord. You're saying tomorrow, January the 14th, and this is February the 27th. So either or, as long as we get it done, we'll see.
I got that date from my brother.
No, it's tomorrow.
Got my brother,
What
my brother,
what
yeah.
you're not looking at is, in the Constitution, if something is just a local and special law that applies to Alexander or applies to Rapides Parish, that's called local and special law. Now, you have to get that done, and it's not just the introduction, it has to be advertised so many days ahead of the deadline. And the staff in Baton Rouge at the House and the staff at the Senate, they have their own internal deadlines. And I'm pretty sure, because yesterday, staff people were talking about.
Yeah, I think it's tomorrow. Yeah,
Tomorrow's the
yeah.
deadline.
No, I'm talking, that's for local bills.
Yeah, that's for local. Now, each legislature can introduce
A certain
matters of
amount.
general law,
Yeah.
and they each have like 5 or 7 things they can do with that. That's a different deadline.
So Jules,
than the local.
so to kind of put it in layman's terms, stuff that applies specifically to a certain city, those bills have to be filed tomorrow. For laws that apply to the entire state, I think that's a later deadline.
Yes, February the
That's
11th.
A later deadline, so yeah.
So as I'm just saying, as long as we meet the deadlines and we're aware
Yeah.
of what is being filed, it'd be greatly appreciated. I know some was filed last year, we didn't find out about it till after the aftermath. All right, thank you kindly.
All right, well, I just hope we can get this blight court online as soon as possible, and at some point transition to residential structures. I think there needs to be a focus on removing blight around churches and schools.
And Mr. Smith, may I say also, I know you were saying about commercial properties. I know in President Perry's area, I've gotten numerous calls, I'm sure she has as well, about two down there, F&F store and the Armor Plant store behind the Dollar Tree on Willow Glen. So as soon as we can do something expeditiously to get those taken care of, the community itself would be greatly appreciated.
We actually, those two properties that you're talking about, Mr. Green, I have, but I think that's been going on for as long as those two buildings been vacant.
Correct.
I know one time they were saying that the old shopping mall behind the Dollar store had asbestos in it, or that it was in court for some legal matter. I'm not sure where it is at this point now, but I do agree with you. Those are two properties that the community has been wanting to see demolished since I even became a council representative. So if we could do that, that would be, I guess it would give the community at least a sense of hope for making the area look better and look decent.
Thank you.
All right, well, Mayor, I know that you and Mr. Smith and Mr. Goins are working very diligently to get this blight court online. Let's get it done. The people want to see the results, and I just want to commend the administration because last night I had a neighborhood meeting at Homewood, and one of the attendees was impressed at the level of demolition that's taking place in District 1. So I want to thank you for that, and let's keep it up, because we still got some more work to do.
Thank you, Daniel, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Thank
Can I,
you, thank you.
just one last question on it. Would y'all find it offensive or mind at all if I sent a simple letter for you guys? I'll make sure it's not a straw vote of anything, but just to rate. I didn't think about the church and schools. I think that's a huge one. So clusters, gateways, age-related size, safety, churches, could we kind of talk about what your priorities would be? That will help us. And then we can group them, right? We can assign points and say, look, if you're age-related, safety, and this, you go up here. But we really need to think about that, and you should weigh in, especially district members, on what your priorities are, especially, Gary, if we're talking about clustering, then you need to be saying what you think is the most important cluster, because you're going to be on the ground knowing it. If clustering is really still one of our targets.
Yeah, Councilman Lorraine,
I'll send the letter. Y'all can decide how we answer it.
the idea about
Well, about
being
Bolton-
mindful about churches
Bolton,
and schools.
You know, there's some
we got
blight around Bolton.
Yeah.
You know, there's some in the senior quarters around some of the schools and churches. I just think if you go into a church house, you should not be seeing a dilapidated house in front of near your church or a school. So, you know.
We'll add that.
Well, and kids walk to school.
And all that.
School,
So-
they're in the neighborhood, so.
Thank you for the feedback.
All right.
Okay, that's it. Close this meeting. Thank you kindly.
Showtime, huh?
Six is now called to order. Alexandria City Council meetings and council committee meetings are broadcast live and may be viewed live by the public on Optum Channel 4. A rebroadcast may be viewed on Optum Cable Channel 4 and the City of Alexandria website. We have our invocation by Ms. June Edison, our pledge by Mr. Laverdane, and then we'll have our roll call. You can come to the mic, Ms. Hicks.
Let us pray. Gracious Father, we thank you for the opportunity to serve. So tonight I pray that with servant's heart we will do business for the citizens of this city, Father, to improve, to advance, and Lord God, above all, to be a beacon light that others may see how cooperative and unity works in the lives of its people. So tonight, Father, I pray for one mind, one heart, one understanding. I also pray, God, that all that is set before these council and administration, God, will be handled in a manner that is pleasing in your sight. So we thank you for the opportunity to be citizens of this city. And we just pray that you will give us grace, give us vision, and give us the opportunity that the residents of this city will live in a place that is pleasing and happy and healthy. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have a roll call.
Mr. Johnson?
Present.
Ms. Belter?
Here.
Mr. Green?
Present.
Mr. Fowler? Mr. Ballard?
Here.
Mr. Lorverdane?
Here.
Ms. Perry?
Here.
Madam President, you have a quorum.
We have approval of minutes taken from a regular meeting held on December 16th. I need a motion and a second, please. Motion by Councilman Fowler, second by Councilman Ballard. Public comments. What section of the written minutes would you like to make a comment on? If it's not in the written minutes, there will not be any discussion or comments, only in the minutes. If you have any questions pertaining to any items on the agenda, please contact the administration before or after the meeting. Discussion? Mr. White?
Yes, ma'am.
Now make sure this is pertaining to the minutes of
I
December
understand.
16th.
I understand directly, Madam President, so thank you.
You're welcome.
First, I want to wish a Happy New Year to everybody, and hopefully this year will go well. Really enjoying the way everything has started out so far. Like I said, Madam President, I just, I wish you would let the people speak after y'all have finished all your business and y'all vote on it and see how each one of y'all would vote on having us speak.
On the minutes,
I'm just asking.
not in the minutes.
You know, I know it's not a part of the minutes.
We can consider it, but it has to be a
I understand, but I'm just asking, like I said.
collaborative effort.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Thank you,
right.
ma'am.
You're welcome. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Consent calendar, number 1, introduction of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to declare certain items surplus and no longer needed or used by city departments to be sold at a public auction scheduled for Saturday, March 7, 2026.
A motion, please. Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Fowler, second by Councilman Johnson. Any items to committee?
Did you do, okay, resolution. Resolution to co-sponsor a free youth symposium in March 2026 at Franco Hunter Park in conjunction with Mu Eta Sigma chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho.
A motion, please.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Lorverdane. Motion by Councilman Lorverdane, second by Councilman Johnson. Public comment. Mr. White,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
you're welcome.
This is a good way to start the new year off by having this youth symposium, and I hope people will, on the 15th, they're having a big thing at LaBorde Earls. He be lifted up, so we need stuff like that. There are people coming from all over these states, coming right here for that. So I agree that we need more stuff for the youth. That'll keep them out of trouble and everything. So this is a good idea. And on the 15th on Thursday at 7 p.m., free tickets, Lord led and fed, so
Thank
I
you.
hope a lot of people will attend from all over the states and parish.
Thank you, Mr. White. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 3, resolution to co-sponsor a CPR workshop in 2026 at Bolton Avenue Community Center or Broadway Community Center in conjunction with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Alexandria, Louisiana, Lumina Chapter.
A motion, please.
Move. Second.
Motion by Councilman Fowler, second by Councilman Valord. Public comments. Mr. White,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
you're welcome.
I want to tell everybody quickly, my mama, Mrs. Jonetta Robinson White, was the founding member of the Deltas here, and I'm so glad that they're putting this workshop together. I think that's another positive thing with CPR and stuff. Life-saving measures are really good, so I hope the Divine Nine, I hope some more of them will come. Yeah, some more, the Omegas and all the rest of the Divine Nine come and do different things for the public throughout the year, so.
Thank you. I agree with you on that.
Mr. White, happy Founder's Day to your mother.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Today is, thank you, Mr. Goins. Today is Founder's Day. This is when the Deltas were started. What is it? Almost 100 years?
13 years.
113 years. There you go. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
H, ordinances for final adoption subject to public hearing. Number 4, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the low bid submitted for playground improvements project.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Valord, second by Councilwoman Felter. Public comments. Mr. White,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
you're welcome.
Again, by improving our playgrounds and everything, it gives the youth somewhere to go instead of a idle mind being the devil's workshop. So that, I salute that on redoing the playgrounds. Thank you.
Thank you. I also have a comment on this ordinance. I would like to take full part in this whenever you meet with the bidders or whenever you decide on whatever playground equipment that you will be putting in the parks. I would like to play a major role in this as well.
We had asked for this to be on comment. We almost were going to delay it, but I don't think y'all want to do that. I didn't. It came in high.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So I didn't give a recommendation, up or down, but I'm going to go ahead and, I said preliminarily, yes. I'm going to say, I recommend you take it. We spent, Mr. Goins, about a week and a half to 2 weeks really combing through it. It's high, but not crazy. It's 2.7 the winter, 2.7 million. And with all these two additional alternatives, it came to 2,782. So may I approach all of you?
Yes.
So y'all don't have the sheet, and forgive some of my writing, but you can see I was taking notes. But Mr. Lauderdale is the legal chair. If you look, when I look at the numbers and just divide the difference between
It's in your book.
the gaps between them, what you don't see is huge gaps. So one of the red flags we would get is if someone were to come in at 2.2 and the next one is 3.8 or whatever, but the 2.2 is over, then you're thinking,
It's in
I don't know, what's going on here? They're all really close. So think about what we do when we issue a bid. We look at it, we give our best guess of what it would cost. That looks like the market is answering that maybe our best guess is lower than what the market says. Obviously, it can go the other way. That's not how, it also can be the market is inflating and they're not unitizing everything as well, et cetera. We called our architect and engineer who made the recommendations. We really took this to the ground. If you were even to delay it, you'd still make the 45-day rule. I don't think if you look at how close they all were, and remember, we bid it all to do all so that we can then break out those parks. You're either going to lose one, or it could even be more next time. So I'm going to recommend it, but I thought y'all maybe would have a lot more questions about it being over. I'm going to go on record and say the due diligence of looking at this being over, we've done. And we've done heavy. And so I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and accept the low bid, and we're then going to comb through again. But I have asked that architect and engineering firm to give me a unit, why is this over and in what areas? And I want to see why.
Well, I don't know about the others. I'm tired of seeing the barricades around the
Yeah.
park equipment.
Well, actually, it's been, Rex, when I actually going on 5 years that we don't have anything in the parks for the children. So personally, I can speak for myself. If it's 2 point whatever, I think we need to go ahead and do what need to be done to those
It's
parks.
18% over.
Let's go.
So that's my recommendation, and that's what I suggest, that we move forward with this.
I think it's worth it, and I think because all the bids were very similar, I think that we just projected low.
So
So,
we continuously speak of quality of life. And as Ms. Perry interjected, Franco Hunter Park has been 5 years minus equipment. So the parents need to see the children being engaged, and we need to move forward. We have multiple bids, thank God, and we can move forward with this, is my opinion. Thank you.
Anyone else?
how long will it take? Like, we approved this, how long will it take for
For us to
equipment,
start.
for equipment to be installed?
Can't give you a date today, but I'll give you one in writing of what we think.
Okay, yeah.
I don't see my
Look,
part.
it's not, they're not.
I'm just hoping for at least springtime, we can
Yeah,
have
oh,
something.
no, yeah, it's not a,
I was,
yeah, it isn't what it used to be. There's a lot of rules for equipment now. They have to meet all kind of national standards, but it's also not building a road. The standards that mean the quality has to be a certain way also standardize how they're installed, so that adds to it being done quicker, if that makes sense to you. Takes longer to make sure you have all those things, but then it gets done quicker because the installations are also sort
So,
of standard.
so should this equipment be installed before springtime?
No, I don't think so. So you have to, that.
Well, will school be,
Well,
when school lets out?
So it won't all happen at once. Let me give you, that's what Ms. Perry was asking about. Let's look at a plan. What you're doing tonight is you're not rejecting it for being 18% over, which is good, because that means we keep them all. So that's everything that we've done. No park has to come off, nothing is, you didn't lessen anything, you didn't take an alternative that takes it down. So we still have to go through and we can look at it, but all the parks that were in the plan are there.
well, let me add something. We discussed this
Budget.
probably about 6 months ago or so, and I thought we were going to discuss it again before tonight, and I wanted to add 2 of my parks, which is they are not major parks, and not major money. And I'm going to look at this right here and I need a couple $100,000 just to take care of 2 of my parks.
You need a couple of $100,000?
Yes. Yes, but we got small parks. I already did it.
Just because they're passive. And like I told you, that
I already did the one.
I can do that.
Yes.
That can come out of a different line item. Doesn't have to come out of this major one.
it'll be-
So Tanya has already identified, you have a line item listed in it that it's all in, but we already have another park improvements line item that can cover this difference. So it's already there.
I don't want to stop anybody from getting their parks done,
I understand.
but
No.
I
Yeah.
definitely want to include 2 of my parks.
Which parks are we missing for you, sir?
Deerfield and the one in Martin Park.
Mark,
HDQ,
HDQ is there.
still a park. HDQ, that's the one you're talking about.
That's the deer.
For deer.
I call it Deerfield.
That's the name of the park,
Uh-huh.
HDQ.
Okay, but Deerfield, I mean, it's the same difference.
AKH, HDQ.
So we got Deerfield, which is HDQ, and what, Martin Park? I'm just
Martin Park.
noting this as we
Yes.
go. Thank you.
Those are 2 I want added. And we could either add it in this one, but I need those parks done.
It can't be added to this thing right here.
So
This is a bid.
the last administration, so in my last time, Spark did both HDQ, New Park, and did the whole redo of Martin Park. I can't speak, this is, our next version of it is right now, this is all of them.
And there's a, I know what the lines changed, there's a park by the levee. Up at Third,
Up a third?
up at Third.
All right.
Yeah, there
Yes.
is.
There's a park on up at Third.
Yeah.
So, by this being an ordinance, what do I need to do?
We'll craft you a separate ordinance that does your two out of the
Okay.
money.
I have a question now. There's a park,
Upper Third,
Up at Third,
Lincoln Park.
on the other side of the levee.
yeah.
And there's one by some automotive stores.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that's,
Lincoln Park.
It's Lincoln.
but there's also one on the other side of the levee too,
North Levy.
North Levee Park. Okay, but
Those are my, yeah.
those are yours, okay.
So you want to craft that with mine?
Lincoln Park is fine, yeah. We can do it.
Yeah, North Levees, we did have a deal with Red River Waterway Commission about that one. I'll have to check and see what they're still doing. That one, that's a isolated park.
But people
Those are, I understand,
But
but it's
people
a,
use that area a lot during the summertime, I know. That's why I know with fishing and whatnot, so it's a boat launch nearby.
that's right.
So let's do this right here.
So with Lincoln Park,
Let's do, you and I get together, get that other park in your district.
No, those two.
no, both of them in mine.
Yeah,
Let's,
But the main one would be Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park. So we got Lincoln Park, HD.
Deerfield.
I would say Deerfield with HDQ, and we'll do a separate one.
I think we just did some stuff at Lincoln.
I think Lincoln Park.
Yeah, we're going to give
I'll go
y'all
back through, but I
the
think
list
it-
y'all did it not major budget, at budget, we kind of had the priorities, and there was some
Right.
degree of satisfaction.
Right.
But there was some degree, we're going to show you those and how the money would come out, and then
And I know Harmon,
you can look at the other ones.
and I know
You
Harmon.
got to have a first set tier.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is just accept the bids.
Yeah.
This is for.
but I know Harmon needs some attention too. Yeah, it needs some attention, so.
Okay.
All right. But we'll talk about that one.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Rethink it.
Motion carried.
Number 5,
That's
to
what
consider
discussion
final
for.
adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for qualified electric line worker services.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Valord, second by Councilwoman Felter. Public comments, discussion? All in-
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I think it was last meeting before last, that Councilman Fowler kind of asked about the electrical workers. I know this is electrical lines. Are we compiled that report yet?
So this is exactly what we talked about in the MBA. We're short on linemen, the very position that is most critical that we need, and this is allowing us to contract out more of those services because we're not able to attract them to come in because of that pay issue.
Tell
So
me something, could the trade school offer a program that trains them and we could use them?
yeah, they currently do.
Okay, is there any way we can use that or?
It's just pay.
I guess, I mean, if people are using us as a training ground, well, let's use the trade school to feed us.
But the ones that go to trade school, the first crop, are going to leave every time for CLECO or any other ones where they're paid more.
Well,
We get who is not hired in that, they stay a year, get trained up, and then.
but is there any way we could offer, some, I mean, how long is the training? Do you know? For linemen, do you know?
2 years.
2 years? Okay. Is there any way we can put them to use for us during that 2-year period? But I'm just looking at creative ways to fill some of these needs because we're gonna have to do some things
But
differently.
let me ask you a question on
we're
that.
gonna need
So
to pay 'em.
if you put them on before they train, are you opening yourself up for someone
Yeah,
to get?
I understand that those logistics need to be worked out.
Nah, the
But
pay's
can we,
worked out.
do something different to use those, and gentlemen or young ladies or
Or something like when you have,
like an intern?
I'll tell you what the problem is.
Okay.
You go into work for somebody, you go for $28 with the city, you go for $48 with anybody else.
I was gonna say, it's $20 difference.
so, but what you're saying also, Malcolm, it's like, say a college student graduate, I don't know if they still do it or not.
Internship.
Cabrini hires them.
Internship.
Yeah, Cabrini hires them, and we're gonna pay your tuition or whatever, but you're obligated to us for 4 years or 2 years.
No, I appreciate, we're civil service, like, there's so many things that we can't do what you're saying. It's just not how it works with civil service. You don't have internships of that kind. You can't put someone undertrained in civil service in a job where the other people of civil service create a pay class for that and so linemen are one of the biggest liability issues there are. Some plaintiff lawyers probably make money on lineman cases, but those are, linemen get hurt. And sometimes catastrophic. I didn't mean to say you did that, John.
I'm just,
It's not gonna be developed because money talks.
I understand money talks, but I'm just trying to find ways for us to fill some of these needs.
To get what we need to
I
be
think
at.
that looking at innovative and unorthodox ways are right, and you've been doing it on a lot of different stuff. I think on this one, Gary just happens to be, this is a straight cash question. It's $20 difference, and we're constrained by civil service.
Well,
I wish we could, you talk about legislation again, maybe, so the state can double encumber jobs, do all kind of things for succession and planning that we can't have. They can know that someone maybe is going to be retiring and move them into a slot where they can have a pay difference. We don't have any of that available to us.
but here's the deal, Mayor. We only have 2 employees. You have the other 99 to 1,000, so you're responsible for day-to-day operations, and you come to us saying, we're short. How can we, the only way to fill it is to pay. I just kind of said, I just think it's important that we try to be creative and find ways to say yes as opposed to just accept the normal no, because, you and I both know laws change all the time.
Yeah.
And if we can get the local delegation on board, who knows what we can do if we're pushing, for different outcomes. So that's all I'm saying. Let's just.
I agree
we gotta
with
be
you.
creative.
And this one to me coming, no, this is the solution right now. You got to have contract workers to perform the job.
Well, let's kind of look at some of the alternatives, let's see if we can do anything other than, I don't know.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 6, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the 2025-2026 major budget amendment.
A motion, please. Second. Motion by Councilman Fowler, second by Councilman Johnson. Public comments? Mr. White? All right. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 7, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a service agreement with Hanson Banner LLC for upgrade of the current utility customer service software.
Motion, please.
Moved.
Second. Motion by Councilman Valord, second by Councilman Fowler. Public comments? Mr. White?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
On this, I just wanted to know, since they're talking about a software upgrade, is this because of the hack attack or anything, or is this to prevent a hack attack on the utility department?
This is just to bring, you have to constantly upgrade your software.
So
we're doing
you're
it
just
right now.
upgrading it? Okay. Y'all aware of AI? I know Malcolm was talking about, trying to lower things and stuff like that. So I was just curious, that's all.
It's just a regular upgrade.
Okay.
All right, you're welcome.
Now, Ms.
Oh,
Perry,
yes,
before
sir.
we go, this upgrade is implemented or going to be implemented? Is this what occurred during the Thanksgiving break?
That was part of it, and it went off well. We're really pleased. So this one, it's bigger than just a normal upgrade. Has function that we don't go a lot into hack stuff. You don't want to attract people who like to challenge cities, because there are people who do. But, we've been with Banner a long time. This is a major upgrade, and this is phase 2, but this is on a leg of redoing ITIS all across the city for lots of reasons, inclusive of some of the ones tonight. But this is really more about customer service. This is specific to customer service. The ability to allow people a lot of different choices, how they do things, how they interact with the city. How that software talks, communicates, lets people know when people have problems, gets the problem solved better, et cetera. When this is all done, you guys will have been part of a major upgrade to our customer service. So this is very important.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 8, to consider final adoption of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the proposal received from Meyer, LaCroix, and Hickson for water well reclamation project professional services.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Valord, motion by Councilman Valord, second by Councilwoman Felter. Public comments, Mr. White,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam President.
you're welcome.
On this water well project, and like I said, I wish y'all would take it up on this carbon capture, because if it hits our groundwater, we won't have nothing but acid to drink. We'll be like Flint, Michigan. So I wish y'all would take up carbon capture. All these other little entities and surrounding areas and the parish has taken up carbon capture, and I'm totally against it.
All right.
Because trees and stuff take the carbon and turn it
Miss-
into noxious.
We have the best water in the state of Louisiana.
I know, but if that hits our groundwater supply, we won't have the best water.
I don't
That's
think there are
the
any
point.
potential carbon.
No.
Oh, yes, there is.
In Alexandria. Are there?
It doesn't
No.
matter. Once they hit the aquifers, it's going to
But
pollute
this
the
is not
whole
what this
aquifer.
item,
He's an
Mr.
expert on it.
Mr. Valord, this is not what this item is about.
I know, honey,
Okay.
I know. I got
All
it.
right, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 9, to consider final adoption of an ordinance to declare surplus and authorize the sale of a certain city-owned 5.204 acre tract of land together with improvements located adjacent to Industrial Port Road and other matters related thereto.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second. Motion by Councilman Valord, second by Councilman Fowler. Public comments, discussion, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Number 10, to consider final adoption of an ordinance rezoning property located at 1734 Abbott Street, Alexandria, Louisiana, from SF2 Single Family District to B1 Neighborhood Business District.
Motion, please.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Valord, second by Councilwoman Fowler. Public comments, Mr. White,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
you're welcome.
Now, is this that nursing home that y'all talked about last year, or is this something?
It's not.
Oh, it's something different?
Yes, on Albert Street. There's no-
Okay, I was just, I don't know what it is.
No, sir, it's not
There's
the
no,
nursing home.
There's no nursing homes on Albert Street.
No, but I'm saying, is it a building?
It's gonna be a neighborhood
Old Christian
business.
Science Reading Room building, right by the police station. You know the building? Right across from the,
You talking about Sears, where old Sears building was at?
well,
Yeah,
look, all this is they're taking a building that had an historic use that could be a little more than where it's residential only, and we're allowing some folks to come in and have a very thoughtful use in it. In business, it's going to be consistent with the integrity of the neighborhood. The neighborhood wants it, and they live next door, and so they'll be able to do business and live there. And it's, if you look at that area from across from St. James, there's the former
Okay.
Sears building, all that. It's
right.
3 down?
Mhm.
3 down, it's the old Christian Science Reading Room building, fondly called down maybe the Sanctuary? The church. And it has a little sign there, they'll put little funny sayings and cute stuff on it. It's a
Okay.
good, there's nothing negative about it.
Are
I haven't heard
Don't
any.
make it look,
are they the
don't make
ones,
people
are
look
y'all
dirty.
the ones with it?
Yeah.
Can they speak? If they want to, I mean, if you want to speak, because I guess Mr. White wanted to know something about it. That's,
Can you, ma'am,
It's there.
excuse me, excuse me. Excuse
He
me.
doesn't call people to speak. I didn't.
It's okay, Mr. White, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm not trying to take.
It's
I'm just asking.
It's okay. It's okay. Would you like to say a little bit about your business?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
The official.
My name is Brianna Bolin, and I have owned a salon downtown inside the Holiday Inn for the last 8 years. I've been a stylist working in Alexandria for 13. I'm purchasing or proposing to purchase the building next to my house, which is the church, to turn it into my salon and business. I have a new baby and 2 young children, so it's very convenient, but also is very, I think will be a great addition to our neighborhood. I have lots of neighbors who are clients of mine, and I feel like it's a great idea, and I'm just kind of hoping that you guys do too.
I do.
They work with us and scale 1 or 2 back to make it as very carefully a limited use for what they want to do, so it doesn't expand if they ever sold or moved
And
and
where
change the integrity of
Is
the
John?
neighborhood.
Jonathan Bolin is my
Yeah,
husband.
okay.
And Jonathan is her husband,
But
who's at the
great.
MPO,
Great, my boys can still come
who
over?
does a great job.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
They're in the
great.
beautification business, put it that way.
Of the building and everybody else, yes, sir.
Well, we're glad, I'm definitely glad you guys are getting it.
I'm excited too.
It's a beautiful building.
I agree.
And I know you know it. So, I'm happy for you, and I'm glad that you got up to tell us a little bit about it. And once again, I'm gonna drop the boys off.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Where are you?